Hello everybody and welcome back to the Placement Partner Recruitment Academy. My name is Shirley Anderson from Shirley Anderson Sales Consulting and Training, partnering with Placement Partner to bring quality sales skills and support South African recruiters to overcome hurdles and whip up those opportunities. There are many. To start, I'll give a quick recap of what we covered last week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to give us feedback on the content or ask us questions, please let me know. Placement Partner Software or Placement Partner Recruitment Academy inquiries to shirley@parallel.co.za, or if you are in need of sales training or coaching specifically for your team's needs, you can touch base at hello@shirleyanderson.co.za. If you're not sure where to send it, either way, it's going to get to me. So the main thing is stay engaged. And so last week we discussed the post-COVID-19 environment and how our new landscape requires all recruiters to become influencers, the pioneers of change for our candidates, and of course, trusted partners and advisors for our clients. What our clients and candidates need from us has shifted dramatically. I also challenged you to reflect on how you are currently generating opportunities to find those clients and candidates. Are you using your planning tools to ensure proactive planning to take control of your business? If you have a team, I hope that this is a consistent hot topic amongst yourselves. When we meet, I would love to hear from you all. How are you taking advantage of these opportunities? What is working for you and what is not? As we know, proactive planning is more effective than reactive activities. But today is about what happens post-sourcing. How do we inspire engagement from our prospects as we walk the journey with them? And of course, we are planning towards replicating the behaviors of a high-performing salesperson, the challenger. As we now understand that when we plan our interactions according to our client specific landscapes, provide value by offering a new perspective, disrupt their thinking, and take control, we are more likely to create a loyal customer through valuable experience and avoid the risk of being commoditized or our clients getting too tired and avoiding their problem altogether, meaning we get wiped out of the picture too, which is almost worse than losing to the real competition. So, what will we cover today? Over the next 10 minutes, we will define the term constructive tension, discuss how constructive tension adds value to our clients in our sales conversations, and unpack a basic framework to build these into our communications. To ensure you can follow through and make this practical for you in your own specific case studies, we have provided you with some tools to use. So what is constructive tension in sales? When we create tension in the sales environment, we must ensure that we are keeping in mind that A, achieving our sales goals, and B, retaining the customer relationship are of equal importance. Aggressive salespeople may be described as pushy salespeople, and we all know how that ends. Nobody likes to feel bullied into anything. The salesperson comes across greedy, only considering their own needs. They try and push the client into something, not taking a care in the world at what they may lose by doing so. If the client signs those terms or the candidate fulfills that vacancy, it's clear that the recruiter just wants to hit their own target. We can already see that this kind of tension would be destructive and would not help to form long-term trusted partnerships. This kind of tension also inappropriately causes tension between wrong parties, the customer and the salesperson, or in our case, client and recruiter, or candidate and recruiter. When a recruiter or salesperson is too passive, we offer nothing of value. A passive salesperson may just accept what the prospect is telling them. These are order taker salespeople. They will battle to thrive in tough environments and not be able to take advantage of the full opportunities that are presented to them. The time they spend with clients is often seen as unproductive, and they'll stop being invited to meetings as they don't provide further insight beyond what the client already understands. The client could feel at their wits' end as the salesperson does not take control or offer a safe space. As a result, the tension occurs in the form of the client ending the meeting as quickly as professionally possible. If we are keeping the relationship as important, we will want to see our client thrive. We will want to offer them as much insight as possible and ensure that they do not overlook any opportunities. Assertive conversations are challenger conversations. They establish credibility. Without this, there is no need to proceed further in any kind of conversation. Most importantly, they reframe thinking. Once you have established you are credible with insight about matters affecting the business or industry, you help your client think differently about a problem they previously misunderstood or didn't anticipate. When creating constructive tension, it's imperative that the tension is between the prospect and their status quo. Their status quo is what they are thinking or understand in their current state. If we want our clients to take the first step towards greatness, we need to be a catalyst for change. The first requirement for making change is an awareness that something needs to change, that something is wrong, and that something could be better. This awareness is the spark that brings attention to the problem and inspires action. And because we know from the studies from the psychology of sales, people work harder to avoid pain than gain pleasure, it's of course imperative that we help the client recognize it. It's our job to outline what's wrong and what needs to be better. This will open up the opportunity to engage with our prospect or even an entire audience. Now, of course, this is only the first step to being a catalyst of change. You must also be willing to take action, but this is to discuss next week. As we go through the framework to create this awareness, this real need to change, think about where you can use these in your communications. You could use them in your face-to-face networking. Take advantage of those opportunities to engage more than one person. Target your groups. Cold or follow-up calls. Stop dreading this activity. Prepare well and have fun with it. Set yourself up for success. Social media posts. Build this way of communication and get your clients' attention so they will want to read more. Click to find out more. Ask for more information. SMS or email campaigns. You could really have fun with these now. Pick your audience and frame each message specific to them. No more copy and paste. Blog posts. How can you create more engaging subjects or titles or opening paragraphs that keep your audience inspired to read on? And then your website. Make a website work for you. It can be tough to get our ideal client to the website in the first place. So when they are there, think about what kind of messaging is going to keep them there. Here is an easy framework for you to work through. The first focus is your prospect, client, or candidate. What do they understand and feel from their own unique perspective? What is their status quo? This will help you see why they are stuck or missing opportunities. Even if they don't know they are missing opportunities, your service wouldn't be available if there wasn't benefit for it. Depending on where you are in the funnel, you may need to do more research into the status quo or use this information differently to help your client become aware, to see, or perhaps even be aware of something different altogether. For example, if you are cold calling, You may need to convince your prospect to just have a conversation with you. You know very little about the prospect, so you would obviously need to do a lot more research. Or you may be pitching your recruitment services or job opportunities, so you're working these comms towards the end of your funnel. So your action requires more commitment than in the first example where you just needed them to have a conversation with you. In this example, where you are working towards the end of your funnel, you know quite a lot about your client as you've spent quite a lot of time with them. So you would simply need to check the comms captured in your CRM and then decide how you're going to use these insights to help your client become aware. And this is where step 2 comes in. It's to prepare how to reframe their thinking. This reframing is what creates that constructive tension in a way that builds the credibility and maintains respect between yourself and the prospect, but still helps them consider that new perspective. So let's look at the preparation that goes into each of those headings or each of those steps. Remember, the challenger salesperson always goes in prepared, so avoid winging it no matter how experienced you are. Your customer is always new. Once you've developed enough insights, you may use them over again, but take time to reflect on them so you know 100% that you are not just assuming something. Each client, candidate, and prospect is different, even if the difference is ever so slight. So, step 1, understand the status quo in the customer's landscape. What do you know about their industry? What are their goals? You can find this on their website or, for a candidate, on their CV, LinkedIn profile, or your interview notes. What are the assumptions they are making? Okay, so I don't want to do the work for you. At the end of the session, there is a challenge. So for the sake of an example, I'm going to take you through a placement partner scenario. This is what I would advise our sales consultants and trainers to think about when they are engaging with our clients. Don't mistake this as a kind of self-promotion. I merely want to afford you the opportunity to complete your own challenge with a clear mind. We'll also work through your unique recruiting agency examples at the webinar when there's more time. And I've got all the experts in the room, which are yourselves. So we obviously work with an array of recruitment partners, from small startups to medium and large agencies with plenty of experience. But for this example, we're going to look at a client who is a startup recruiter. So we would start our preparation by analyzing the recruitment industry. After all, recruitment is the industry we serve. So what do we know about your industry? The restrictions of lockdown has forced recruiters to change the way they work. There are more quality candidates out there than ever before, and there are less jobs out there than ever before. And those that are recruiting may be cutting costs. We could also add here about what we spoke about earlier, that recruitment is going digital, the market being more competitive than before, or talk about remote working. The list goes on. So when you are doing this for yourself, you don't need to stop brainstorming as long as it is relevant to your client. Then we do some research into their unique business goals. We want to ensure that we speak to what they need. We may go into their website, look at the company's social media pages, and even go as far as pre-demo. We ask them to fill out a short questionnaire. So we know we are going to make their time worthwhile. In this example, our small startup agency may want to grow and scale their business, keep up with larger competition, or learn and implement skills needed to run a successful agency. Lastly, we need to consider what they may be missing. What could they need to think about differently? Now, there's a little bit of guesswork here. We can't really be sure, and we'll only really know when we get the opportunity to talk to our prospective client. But through our unique experience, we can take some good guesses on what to prepare for. The larger your list, the more prepared you're going to be. What are the assumptions that they are making? It could be that an ATS or RTS is for large agencies with a big budget, or an ATS or RTS is for large agencies needing to manage large teams across different branches or regions, or an ATS or RTS is an unnecessary expense for a small team. We could go on to more examples like using Excel is just as useful, or it's expensive, or it's complicated. Next, we will need to make the preparation work for the client so that we can help them consider a new perspective and think differently. Done correctly, they'll experience the value of seeking advice and taking the time to spend with us. So time for step 2 then, reframe the thinking. Choose which one you want to prioritize, which thought you would like to challenge constructively, and then prepare your reframe with the following steps. Preparation, that's what we've just done. Then, how will you build credibility? This is where you are going to present the challenge. Then you will align, present the status quo, and reframe with the words however, but, what may surprise you. Right, so now we have done our preparation, and it's time to present our challenge and build credibility. In this example of small business, we have chosen to challenge the status quo thinking that an ATS is for big agencies with a big budget. And we present the challenge of, according to small business owners, one of the biggest challenges they have is scaling their agencies. Now it's time to align with my customer by presenting the status quo. Here, I need to help them understand that I see their perspective too, and that it is one perspective that is relevant and completely respected. One way small business may tackle this is to keep costs low and to do as much as they can themselves as they wait for the right time. And now, it's time to enter the reframe, using words like however, but, what may surprise you. Basically, what I want to do is lead into an insight that exposes the gap. For example, I might say, however, 100% of successful business owners will tell you that one of the biggest mistakes small business owners make is not investing into infrastructure early to scale the business faster. This exposes the potential gap and will keep my prospect from potentially being stuck in their hamster wheel. This is a constructive tension, with the tension focused on challenging the status quo and not the prospect personally. It disrupts the clients just enough to explore further, because this is a new perspective or an insight that is valuable to them in achieving their goal. Remember that this cannot work if you are not truly speaking to the need of the client. It just never can. So what have we done? We have understood this particular client and prepared according to their needs so that we can show value and truly help them. We aren't treating them like any old customer and expect them to listen to generic features and benefits of Placement Partner. We have shown them a unique perspective from our experience. When it comes to business, one perspective is never enough. And there was value in that perspective. Perhaps it was something that would have been overlooked or underestimated, which would have kept them from achieving their goals for building their business. Yes, it was valuable time indeed. Lastly, our valuable insights build trust that we will be knowledgeable enough to take control and lead our client down a path that is uncertain and a little bit scary for them, because change is scary for everyone. Okay, cool. So now it's your turn. I know that sounded like a lot, but that's why I developed your own tool, so you can develop your own preparation for your relevant client and candidate scenarios. How about doing this with another member of your team? Doing it together for the first time will definitely be helpful, and perhaps even include this as an activity in your next team meeting. We will work through your recruiter examples at our next webinar. How will you create awareness for your next client and candidate conversation? Keep it real. Think about a real-life scenario that you are currently working on. Make a list of where you can use your preparation in your next meeting, call, email, or if you want to reach a large audience, you can use these concepts for campaigns, social media or email, SMS campaigns, or even blog posts. And of course, remember to pay it forward and share the Placement Partner Recruitment Academy link so your colleagues, partners, and recruiting friends can also take advantage of this free opportunity to register. We'll send them catch-up videos if they missed out on previous weeks. If you have a good time, we would appreciate it to let us know via email, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. And a final reminder, if you have any comments or questions, just pop me an email. See you next week, everyone.